Salutations, my wonderful people. Welcome to another episode of Unsolved. With me are my wonderful friends. By the way, I'm G20. I almost forgot that. And with me are my wonderful friends that know me as Godpool. Kellen, who plays the amazing role of Richard Barden, the slowly going insane FBI agent.
I'm not going insane. You're crazy. You're all crazy.
And Michael, who plays the grumpy but somewhat likable Gene.
Hello. Fake news.
And then we got Brienne, who's playing Leslie, the the smart one of the group now.
Hi. Yes.
We're it's all on it's all questionable at this point. Everyone's kind of going insane right now. It was a great time, wasn't it, last time?
I'm fine.
So before we go any further, I know that you got some of you guys might have some improvements to do.
Yes.
So let's get them out of the way.
Why don't you go first, Tom?
Apparently I wasn't good enough last time, so...
I don't think it was last time. I think it was the time before. I think I forgot last week.
I have a psychology one. Nope, I want to roll one of those.
I never had any crits. I just had one that was like a hard success, but that didn't count, so I just get to sit here and wallow in misery.
So, Brienne, you have some improvements?
Yeah, I think I have spot hidden. Let me double check.
No, this is your...
Nope, just psychology.
Alright, roll for your psychology increase. You have a very difficult time increasing that.
No.
Alright, so you do not increase your psychology.
No.
Gene, you had something to improve?
I have two. I have a psychology and a spot hidden.
Alright, let's start with that psychology roll. Oh, just barely. And then let's do the spot hidden roll. Oh, you do increase that. So, roll a... what was the die I was using? A D10?
Sure.
Yeah.
Alright, you increase it by 6.
Cool.
As a kind of a added note, just for funs and giggles, once you reach above 90, that's going to be like the last roll that takes you over the 90 threshold. That's the last increase you can do for that skill. But you're already in the 90s. You're gonna have a very good time of making everything. Alright, so everyone has rolled their skills. Skill increases. So, last time we had a great time. We started back in the... when we last saw our agents, they were in the Herald Express, dealing with some of... finishing up some of the investigation there. Getting some of the... Goddammit, bird. They were finishing up the investigation there, waiting for a locksmith to come to open up the safe in the office of William Rudolph Hearst. And continuing to get off on the wrong foot with Sarah Lindell, who they, in the end, decided to arrest, at least, for and hold her for a day. Whether or not they were gonna interrogate her or just annoy her is still up for debate. After they got opened the safe, they discovered some documents and a strange-looking coin, and proceeded to go back to the police station with all of their evidence. When after getting back there, they contacted Richard, who met them at the police station. And after Richard saw the coin, warned them not to play around with it. And with nobody heeding his warnings, everyone looked at the coin. And everyone had a bad time. Even himself.
No, I didn't. Everything's fine.
Gene broke some mirrors and stuff like that, but he doesn't remember that because he decided to just actively ignore that fact. After that, examining the coin, however, revealed some interesting things because out of all of them, Leslie managed to. No, wait. It was Leslie that managed to draft down the symbols, wasn't it?
Yes.
I think so.
I believe so. Yes.
Leslie or Jean, I don't. Yeah.
No, Leslie did.
Yeah, Leslie did.
Yeah.
Leslie managed to scratch down, after having looked at the coin himself, although he struggled, he managed to write down the inscription on these coins on paper. And he has no idea what any of them means. But hey, he got it on paper, so that's something. And that is where we last left off our team of investigators. They went back to their motel and decided to rest because it had been a very rough day, and they needed to take some time away from the cave. Just needed to rest, really. And we will start again at the morning of January 19th. It is a Monday, and the first one to awaken is Richard. Richard, what do you do when you wake up?
I stare at the clock for a while. Even with the sleep I got, I probably still have dark circles under my eyes. Probably didn't take a shower last night just from exhaustion, so I smell the just pungent, sweat from all the experiences. It's just, I groan, lean up out of bed, start feeling like, even though I'm right there, still in my prime, I'm starting to feel age. I feel like Gene looks.
Oh my god.
I get up, I go to the bathroom, I turn on the hottest shower I can stand, and that's where I'm going to spend probably, the next 15 to 30 minutes.
Alright. Next one to awaken would be you, Leslie.
I would also, I'd wash up, and then I'd probably go and knock on Richard's door so he can help me rebandage all the things that I need to be rebandaged.
Yeah. Richard, during your shower, you start hearing a knock on your door. And when you kind of step out of the shower, kind of still feeling pretty tired, you walk to the door and open, and you see Leslie's just standing out there, kind of also looking kind of like shit.
Hey, it's another shirtless episode. Oh, yeah. I'm in the whole pants and suspenders look, or a robe one. Yeah, we'll say I got to my pants and suspenders, but still shirtless.
Yeah.
I just Give Leslie the thumb. Come on in.
You're ahead of the times on that 50s dad look.
So, I believe I have said before that Leslie's gay, so he gives him a once over while clearly trying not to let him see he's giving him a once over. Or he's shy.
When in LA, right?
I ought to move out.
For some reason, I just imagined like Leslie look for a moment, even though he looks kind of like shit. Just look at Richard and go like, hell yeah.
I just asked, hey Leslie, what can I do for you this morning?
Do you mind helping bandage me up? Everything needs to be rebandaged. And I kind of hold out the medical supplies that the hospital had given me to, like, rebandage myself the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
It's no problem to do this. It just takes a little bit of time, and this is actually a first aid check because I spent some time reading up on the rules again on how skills work. So this is actually a first aid check.
Okay. And I actually asked the same because I have spots that need bandaged up too, and I just took a shower. So hey, I'm already perfectly clean.
So yeah, you just put out your. So Leslie just sits down on the bed while you bandage his hands.
If I take my time and be extremely careful with it, can I get a bonus?
Yes, you can. I'll allow you to just. You can have a bonus like 20 on it because you have all the everything you need to do this. You're not like scrambling. You got like medical supplies to do this, and you're in no rush. So yeah, you can roll this with basically a plus 20 on it.
Okay. And I still fail. Wow. Good grief. It's going to be one of those days. Do I know I failed? Like,
you can obviously see that you did a pretty shoddy job. It might, but you think that it should do, even though it's pretty shit. Like, it's definitely not great, but you think it'll do the trick.
No, this is more 6th edition, but can I just try to adjust it?
Yeah, you can.
I'll roll the same. I just want to try to at least.
Yeah, you're just looking at it.
Fall off.
Yeah, you're looking at it and you go like, this is kind of shit.
Sorry, I'm a bit tired, Leslie. I slept, but I didn't sleep. Know what I mean?
I nod and wonder if I should have gone and asked Jean for help.
You hold up like mummy balled fists.
Good grief.
And after seeing him attempt to fix it, you go and think to yourself, yeah, I should probably talk to Jean.
And I actually just say, I can't focus this morning. Maybe Jean would do better. I apologize, Leslie.
He did okay with cleaning your wounds, but like bandaging them up properly and everything like that, he just can't.
Hold on, I'll just sit right here since you're already whatever. I'll go get Jean, and I'll just walk out. I don't even care. I'm shirtless and all that. I put my hat on just for fun.
Yeah. Jean, you're woken up by the knock on the door.
No, I was already awake. I was actually in the chair next to the bed reading. I have an old beat-up copy of The Hobbit that I've read multiple times over my life, and it's just a comforting place to be.
Oh, yeah. I forget.
The Hobbit hasn't been written.
Really?
Not in the 40s, I don't think so.
That.
I thought it was the... I'll double check.
It sounds like something Jean would do, because he never sleeps.
But I actually startle and like juggle the book and then end up just chucking it across the room.
The Hobbit
and it
was
hits the wall with a thud. when the door gets knocked on.
Yeah, you startled everyone.
Yeah, Richard doesn't see any of it. He just hears, "Whoa!" Boom. And I come up and open the door and go, "What's up, Richard?"
And Richard just looks like crap, and he's just kind of rubbing his eyes. Hey, Leslie asked me to do some first aid, and I can't focus this morning. I'm cocking it up really bad. You think you can come in here and give me a hand?
Yeah, okay. I go find my shoes, one that's like tucked under the bed, so I have to half crawl under it to get it.
But to answer the question before, The Hobbit was actually released. So. It released 1937. Aha.
So there.
My mistake.
I
Nice.
thought I googled that at one point.
But yes, you walk over to Richard's room, and you see kind of Leslie looking equally shitty as Richard, really. Kind of sitting there with his hands kind of on his thighs, waiting for someone to just bandage them better. You can immediately see that the bandaging on his hands are absolute garbage.
Oh, another note.
There's
lights.
a half-stifled laugh when I walk in and see the state Leslie's in.
I try and give Jean the finger.
But yes,
Jean laughs again. This raised ball of bandages.
but you see,
Oh,
but
and
yeah,
all the lights are on in this room. It's
all-
daytime.
all the lights are on. There's not a single light that's turned off. If there's a light source in this room, it's on.
Is your lighter just sitting on the desk, like, held open?
Oh, no, not that bad.
Okay.
I mean, you would know the fire hazard of that, so you wouldn't even do that. But everything that doesn't pose an immediate threatening death and destruction to you, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yes,
Yeah, so I step in and blink a few times because it's a little brighter than Jean and
yeah, even in the morning, this room is a lot brighter than the morning. You guys woke up pretty early.
Yeah.
You're probably waking up a lot earlier than you You're waking probably around 7 in the morning, and you went to sleep pretty late the other day, around midnight or so.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm gonna try and patch Leslie up, but I suck at first aid.
Did you make it?
No.
You have a plus 20 because you have a first aid gear.
With the plus 20, I make it.
Yeah, then yes, you do make it, and you do make. Oh well, that startled me. And you do a much better job than Richard did. You actually did it properly.
And as soon as he does that, I'm just like, kind of a defeated laugh. God, I must have lost my soldiering skills.
I just look at him nonplussed and go, "Do I need to patch you up too, rookie?"
Please.
And sort of this half-assed, I think I know what a drill sergeant sounds like. I need to do a first aid for Richard too.
Yeah, you're basically just fixing up the bad. Oh well, you did not get that one.
No, I make it worse.
By the way, I was just sitting here reading the notes, and then suddenly something was nibbling on my elbow, and then just Kao somehow got there. She startled the hell out of me. But yes, you don't you got wounded where again, Richard? Do you remember?
I have a head wound.
Oh yeah, you have a.
I'm kind of scorched, so I probably need, aloe vera.
Yeah, you spread that aloe vera, you spread that cream easy peasy. That's not really that hard.
Oh no, I pull out the rubbing alcohol.
Oh yeah, okay. That's why you failed.
I pulled out the rubbing alcohol.
And you know,
this will help.
you just squirm as he rubs the alcohol onto where you got like the small burn. Like the burns aren't that serious. You'll recover. But damn it, this does not feel comfortable at all. This just hurts. And Leslie, looking at this, you can just see the face on Richard really just kind of... He starts to frown a lot. He goes, "Oh, this is not good." And the bandaging on the head is just absolutely horrible. Like, for some reason, Jean does not manage to like hook it in the right way, so it just keeps falling off.
I look at Leslie. I see what I did to you. Please take over.
Yours is...
It's fun. Here, I'm just double checking what my first aid is. 40. I will try.
Yeah, you have
That's what mine was.
You had a first aid kit there with you, so you're getting a +20 with it, and you're not in a rush. Oh my god! Leslie does know better, really.
Can I attempt on myself?
I mean, yes.
At this point, Dean just says, "Just go back to bed, kid. I give up," and walks out. He goes back to reading.
I've like mummified his whole head.
Yeah, you're like... Leslie did a better job of making it actually get stuck. Just most of your head is racked.
I'm like...
And you just take it off. This is not working.
I'd try one last time on myself.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. You go like, alright, and you just do it yourself, and it works really just easily. You do it like in a minute. Because wrapping wrapping something around your head like properly is not a very hard thing to do. But apparently just nobody was in the mood this morning to do anything right.
I'm just gonna lay back down after that. I don't even care if Leslie's still in the room. I just kind of lay on the bed and kind of close my eyes.
How close are our rooms together? Or are they adjacent rooms?
They're adjacent room. Leslie is in the middle. And then you and Richard are at either side to Leslie.
Yeah, you guys hear about 7 minutes after I walk out. God damn it! That's it. So I got back to my room and realized chucking the book against the wall, I snapped the spine.
Oh yeah, it's a very very annoying. Now, Richard, when you're lying back on the bed, your thoughts again start to drift towards that coin you struggled with. The dreams you had that night were pretty much empty, with the only thing you can kind of remember from them are those symbols floating about in your mind. Like, really nothing else comes to mind, and you can't even make heads or tails of what those symbols like are. You're not even sure if you can remember like their shapes. And the same can kind of be said to all of you, like with the exception of Leslie, who managed to draw down the symbols. Like in your dreams, Leslie, the symbols were clear. You knew what you could see them. You knew that these were the symbols on the coin. All of the both Richard and Jean do not have a clear image of those symbols in their mind, but they're kind of stuck and linger in the back of your minds. And you feel as if these symbols are... All of you feel as if they're kind of beckoning you. The pull is a little bit stronger to you, Richard.
No.
When I get back to... After I read for a little bit, I think to check and make sure the key's still there.
The key is still there.
Okay.
For you, Richard, the one kind of like thing those symbols remind you of is Miss Short's apartment room. For some reason, they just keep like reminding you of that room for some reason.
Is Leslie still in my room? I open my eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Leslie's still sitting on the edge of your bed.
I'm just gonna say it, Leslie. I can't get the stuff out of my head about that coin, and I'm not really ready to talk about what happened at the apartment, and I understand why you guys didn't, but I really feel that those two are connected in some stupid way, and it's bugging the crap out of me. It won't leave my head. It won't go, and I start kind of rambling. It won't go away. It won't leave my head and stuff like that.
I'm sitting on the edge of his bed, and I reach out and I tap him on the shoulder in like a camaraderie sort of way. And I said, I say, I think it might be time to go to the local library, see if we can find any information on these symbols.
Maybe that'll satisfy this current crutch I have. And when Leslie put his hand on me, I tensed and stopped rambling, and that's how, immediately responded that way.
Mm-hmm. You start to kind of dress and get yourselves ready for the day. Leslie, you go back to your room, gather your things, and you're all of you aren't really in a rush as you're doing this. It's kind of for at least this morning, it feels more like a ritual to prepare yourself for the day than to anything else. It's not just okay, let's get ready for this morning. This is more like, hey, let's get ready for whatever is about to happen.
I make sure I have on all clean clothes.
Yeah.
There's a significant psychology to having clean clothes on.
Yes. Is there anything specific you guys want to be taking from your rooms other than just the normal stuff that you normally take?
I fill my flask up, obviously, and I take a drink beforehand because I got to steady my nerves now. No, I'm not taking a huge drink, just, the one little shot kind of thing, just a nice little calming shot, grandfather's medicine. Load my pistol, grab my hat, get dressed, notebook, standard stuff. I don't really have anything else to bring with me other than my normal crap.
And by the time both of you are ready and you walk and knock on Gene's door, what's your status, Gene?
I'm still reading. Actually, is the ritualistic act of reading the book helping you regain any sanity that I've lost over the last couple days?
Tell me how much you've spent specifically in reading the book. Just did you
2 hours?
Yeah.
What's that?
Did you just wake up specifically in the morning to read the book before and everything else? And have you been doing that every morning? I think you've been doing that every morning.
Not intentionally every morning. It's present, but I haven't really pulled it out before now.
Yeah.
Like last night, after spending a few hours staring at the ceiling, I pulled it out for the first time since I've been here and read a bit before falling asleep in the chair. And then after I woke up, I continued reading.
I'll allow you to just... It has a calming effect on you. So I'll allow you to recover 1d2 sanity from just kind of calming yourself.
Okay.
So you feel a lot more the stress in the back of your the stress that's been lingering over you this entire time kind of leaves you a little bit. It doesn't go fully, but you feel like your mind's been somewhat the troubles in your mind have somewhat been lifted, or at least forgotten. And
Hey, Godpool,
Yes.
does my shirtlessness help Leslie regain his sanity? I'm not even going for it for myself. I'm doing this.
roll appearance.
Wait, are you serious?
Well, yeah, I guess. If he keeps him,
I'm doing this for you, Leslie.
you're gonna need a very good success on that. What is your appearance, my boy? 15.
I'm good looking. So what is it's ×5, right?
Yeah, it's ×5, and let's just say because this is something that would normally not do it, let's just say that you need to make the 15. It's an extreme success on the 7th edition scale. I mean, hey, you gotta be hella good looking that morning to make somebody forget about their brain problems.
Oh, that was not what I meant to do.
I was like, how did you do that? Got hundreds.
I typed in the wrong area.
You didn't just fail. You just, you made people that don't see you puke.
Hey!
Hey!
Oh, I did it!
Oh, damn!
I actually did it!
Nice. You managed to recover 1 sanity, Leslie, for looking at that handsome visage. That
Grounded you back in reality.
that like the wet hair, the water dripping from his brow,
The glistening chest.
the glistening chest, his muscles kind of like shiny, because he just came out of the shower. They're kind of shine, and he's unintentionally flexing a little bit. You just almost faint, and it helps you recover some of your sandy. Good job.
That nice airborne tattoo from,
Yeah.
101st Baby Kurahi. Oh, yeah. So, hey, I did that for you. I didn't even want any sanity recovery out of that.
Yeah. Teamwork. That was
I just
good.
hope this... Hey, just remember, you actually have the psychoanalysis power. I'm going to need your help later.
Later, you're gonna have to fix me. Bring that screwdriver. We're gonna have to do some. We're gonna have to do some repairs. But yeah, you feel you that somehow calms you down. But so when they knock on the door, what's your status again? Gee, we gotta. You've been reading the book, and when you hear the knock on the door, which kind of prompts you to close it and look back at the door.
Remember that I have work to do today, actually.
Yeah.
I haven't been doing anything
Yeah,
other than reading the book. I'm not ready to go.
Like, have you been reading the same page and again just to kind of absorb it, or are you just actually reading?
I'm definitely reading forward, but I'm not mentally attached to this plane of existence at the moment.
Oh yeah, so you're reading, but you're not absorbing.
No, I'm not paying attention to anything outside the book.
Yeah.
The rest of that might as well not exist.
Yeah. The knock does bring you back to reality, and it's kind of instinctual that you close the book without even thinking about it, and you just look at the door, and you kind of remember that you got work to do.
Right. There's a pause. I don't say something right away. There's a deep breath. And I try not to throw the book at the wall again. I go, yeah, give me a minute. And I go and finish getting dressed for the day, pack all my stuff. I pocket the key. For the first time since we've been here. I make sure that my pistol's in working order and put that on my person. I think it's been in my room the whole time.
Yeah, you haven't actually carried your pistol with you at all, if I remember correctly.
While we're waiting outside, I want to look at Richard and, like, see if I can, like...
Give him eyes.
No!
Oh, by the way, I posted something for you in the Discord when you're ready.
Oh boy.
No, I want to look at Richard and see if, like...
Oh my god.
I want to look at Richard and, like, see if he's drunk. Or, like... I want to, like, sniff the air and, like, see if he's had the alcohols, because I have seen him drink when he's, extremely stressed.
I mean, it's not hard to do it. I'm gonna say... There's no smell, so you know. I mean, it would probably just be spot. I think it would just.
I'd say spot hidden.
Yeah, I'd say spot hidden since there's like nothing else really that fits. Yeah, just roll a spot hidden check.
Okie dokie.
And it was only one swig, damn it.
Yeah.
I don't think I have the best spot hidden.
Leslie, you have spot hidden at 28. So you don't catch any whiff of alcohol around him.
I thought you said you don't catch a whiff of the occult around him. Richard, what have you?
There's no occult around him.
So
Well,
Richard hides.
I nod at Richard and go, I know it's been stressful for you. I'm glad you're not hitting the bottle.
Nah, I'm not hitting the bottle hard this morning. I just took one swig to dull the nerves, but no, nothing more than just a sip. I promise.
And I'm kind of disappointed in him now, but I don't say anything.
I mean,
For the door again.
When he kind of mentions it, you don't feel the need to drink, but your like mind kind of goes into this place where it says, I wouldn't mind a drink to calm the nerves, but you don't feel any compulsion to drink or anything like that.
It's a little early in the morning.
Yeah, it's you think it's mostly just the stress from everything that happened yesterday that's kind of making it a very tempting thing.
Right.
It sounds very tempting to you, at least.
And Richard's thinking is like, he knows that he's really hit the sauce, in front of him before. So he's like, might as well be honest, I at least took a sip of it. And in fact, because he has trust, he pulls out his flask and hands it over to Leslie.
Yeah, Richard hands over to you his, isn't it an iron flask?
It's a fancy little flask.
Yeah, fancy, like, iron-looking flask with... And, it has I don't think there's anything in it. You didn't refill it, did you?
No, it was kind of like a security blanket today. He took a hit out of the bottle, but I didn't actually refill that.
Yeah, so you hear, like, there's a little bit at the bottom of it, but, like, it's just, like, a little bit.
All right.
Hold on. At this point, Jean's ready to go and steps out and sees Leslie with the flask and says, yeah, it's definitely that kind of morning, and takes the flask from Leslie and goes to take a swig and goes, I'm sort of disappointed in you, kid, and then tightens it up and hands it back.
You get not even, like, it's just the bottom, really. So you get, like, a very small swig, but it's enough to calm you down a little bit.
So Richard said to me, I only had a swig, and handed me this mostly empty flask.
He hadn't refilled it since yesterday. Last time you held the flask, there was...
Yeah, I have no idea.
to give you some idea of the last time you held the flask, it wasn't much heavier. It was maybe a little bit.
I still see where she's going with this, and that's funny. I'm not gonna correct her.
Yeah.
He's just gonna smile.
I mean,
I just
he doesn't smell of alcohol. He at least doesn't smell of alcohol. So you know.
Dean thinks that Leslie just pounded the whole thing now.
I just shake my head, and I don't even hand it. I just toss it at Richard. And I turn to Jean, and I step close, and I breathe in his face, so he can smell like my spearmint toothpaste.
Likely cover.
And Jean's just sort of confused why Leslie got that close to him.
And I said, we're going to the library to look up those symbols. Do you want to come?
Can I get some coffee first? Or at least some real alcohol?
I mean, you'd probably want to grab something to eat before you go anywhere, and there's the diner on the way, so you could definitely grab some.
Fine, we can go to the diner.
I mean, it is a Sunday. Technically, we're off the clock, right?
It's a Monday, so no, this is a work day.
Oh, it is Monday now?
Yeah, yesterday in game was a Sunday.
I got my days off on that.
Yeah, that's fine. It's been a long weekend for you guys. But yes, you head to the diner. You get yourself something to eat for breakfast. Your appetites aren't. You don't have an immense appetite. It's been a long weekend, and the week seems to be even longer ahead of you. And you eat a small breakfast, get yourself some coffee, and Jean, you're kind of regretting finishing off the flask because you could have used some of that into your coffee.
Yeah.
But around taking like a half an hour to eat and get everything done, you start heading out towards the library, which oh well, let's see where there's a library close to you. So there is, yeah, there's basically where there's a library pretty close by. Like you head towards where the central library, just LA Central Library is, and you'd probably take a taxi, I guess, because
Wait, isn't there the university library?
There is a university library as well. But
all right.
Yeah, you're not that far away from. You're actually not that far away. You could definitely walk there, but it would definitely be shorter to take like a cab.
Wait, since we actually have a decent cop running the place, and both Lisa being, staying there as interim chief more often than not and all that, why don't we just get a cop car now? We can actually ask for one and probably not have to deal with bull crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or an unmarked car, is what I mean.
Yeah. You walk to the police station and you requisition a unmarked police vehicle, which you do manage to get pretty easily, actually. You haven't seen Lisa anywhere this morning though, but she might not be in yet this morning. Yesterday was a pretty rough day for all of you, and Richard, you would also know that like she went through a lot of stuff with you that day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still gonna probably, if we're going to the police station, inquire after her at like the front desk.
So you go to the front desk and you inquire after her, and the receptionist, Shelley, will tell you that she called in just a few moments earlier to let them know if you guys would ask for her, that she was gonna attempt to follow up on some of her own leads, and she would reconvene with you later.
Okay.
I just kind of sigh. I'm like, freaking apartment.
Richard, you having been with her when you went into the apartment, do you think that she might just want a little bit of time to herself more? The experience was really harrowing and not a very great one.
In my mind, I just think she's strong. She's a boxer. She knows how to stand up for my knockout. She just needs a moment to breathe.
But you guys are gonna head to you get a car and you start heading towards the library. Let's see. When you arrive at the library, do you want to go to a university library or do you want to go to the central library?
I think a university library. They probably have more information on the occult, and there might be. Well, it's is there a general college, or is it just a medical hospital?
Let's see. There'd probably be UCLA.
Yeah.
That'd be one of the columns.
You could head to. Yeah, you could go there, and you could attempt to find. You could attempt to go through the library there to find something.
I agree. The university library keeps the weird shit.
Yeah. So when you arrive there and you head towards the library, they're just students about just a normal day really for them there. Go ahead and roll for library use because you are trying to find information here.
Alright.
I've got a 65.
I'm gonna let Jean roll for library use.
Alright.
No.
Ouch.
I'm not
I
too
will
great
roll
at it,
for
but I'll try.
library use.
You're too good at... Oh,
I hate you.
so...
I almost made it.
I got
That's an extreme.
I get to check off my library.
Yes, you do.
Oh, nice.
Got a 4. So, Jean, Leslie, you manage, as you go through the library, and you see kind of Richard and Jean looking, they're looking through the library, but pretty inefficiently, you'd kind of say. But
They don't know how to use the card catalog.
yeah, they're you're mostly surprised that Jean isn't.
More recently.
You think that Jean's just not in the right mindset today, and you managed to go and find some. You managed to find some interesting books. On occult. When you kind of flip through a few of them, you immediately lose interest as you start to see that they don't hold any water to to any of your theories in regards to what those symbols might be from. One of the books that you do find, you don't find any symbols in them, but it talks about a strange assembly of signs that have been that are often placed on small objects, and these objects often function kind of like keys to strange places.
Okay. Can I also use that role? Because I wouldn't just be looking in books if I don't find anything, especially right away, because I imagine we're going to set a dedicated amount of time. I'd be looking in like their newspaper archives for either like things that sound like accidents where the police found articles like the coin or something along those lines. Newspaper articles where it sounds like something occult might have happened.
So to finish up a little bit about the coin is that a lot of people seem to call these items keystones, but ironically enough, it's nowadays, at least the most common ones found are made out of metal, very similar to coins, and are generally in a similar shape to the coin that you found.
All right.
But there are also other keystones that have been made out of wood, stone, and all sorts of materials.
So I share the information that I got with the other two.
When you start trying to find some information in newspaper articles, do me a favor and roll a spot hidden check as you're going through the articles.
Alright. I don't think that makes it. Let me double check.
No, you have 28.
No.
Going through these articles, you don't notice anything that would remind you of this coin, or at least has the symbols. However, you do kind of start picking off. You kind of figure as you're kind of going through these articles that you found this in a safe in the Hearst, so you start going through the newspaper articles from the Hearst from the Herald Express. But you don't manage to see anything that pops out towards you as something. At least nothing obvious jumps at you that would that you think kind of has anything to do with a coin. There are plenty of cases that kind of pop up that are weird, like just murder cases that are pretty brutal, or kidnapping cases. There are quite a few missing persons cases that they have covered, but nothing of it seems to be, at least that you can see, related to this coin.
Okay.
So I wander over to where Leslie's thumbing through stuff because I feel like I'm just, useless this morning. And she talks me through some of the theories and paths he's been taking. Do I notice anything occulty in the pattern of thinking that would lead me down a different path for us to look?
You can roll occult if you want to.
Sure.
Oh, you make it.
I would do it. I do make it.
So, when you're told about the keystone, you start to kind of think, and you start to remember some passages in one of the older in one of the artifact catalogs that you've been going that you've once gone through, and you heard of these keystones before.
Yep.
These are very rare objects in the collectors kind of community of like people that collect coins would be very interested in these, and also just generally people that like to collect artifacts of all kinds, because most of these coins are from like at least like a few centuries back. The most recent ones that have been found like in recent history have been from like World War II. Those are the most recent coins that have been like found, but their coinage is like unknown. It's unknown how old they are at the moment. And these coins, remembering that these coins often work as kind of gateways, and you're kind of looking at this at the newspaper articles as they're going through. You start to notice that you start to remember that the day before, when you started holding the coin, kind of focusing on it, you started to see some weird things, basically, and you still kind of just think that that's your mind playing tricks, but if anything about this keystone is true, you would expect that that the abnormal amount of missing person cases that you see in the articles could have something to do with that.
Okay.
And because you're looking at these newspaper articles as they're going through, you can roll a spot hidden check for me as Leslie's kind of flipping through them.
Sure. Yes.
All right, you get a check in that.
Yes.
So you notice, interestingly enough, that in a few of those pictures that have been taken, you can see Aggie Underwood, and you kind of start to check out those articles specifically, and those are articles written by her.
Okay.
And you start noticing an interesting pattern. All of those missing person cases have all been reported by her.
Mm.
And when you're looking through this whole, like, when you're looking at this, because you would know with your occult check that the way to use these keystones is just, like, at least the stories say that you're supposed to just focus on them and they will take you somewhere to some other place.
Okay.
So you spot, when you're looking at one of the pictures, kind of a strange image of what you think might be one of these coins, just kind of in a pin on her jacket, kind of a little bit like behind the collar, so that like you could conceal it, but like you just see a little bit of a glimpse of it in the picture, and it's not a very obvious thing. It's really hard to tell, but you kind of go and like think to yourself and say, I could swear that that's one of these coins. At least it has a very similar shape to the coin that you have locked away.
So I call Richard over and ask him how the picture makes him feel.
Richard, are you going to look at the picture?
This some sort of Rorschach test, Gene.
Who?
Roll spot hidden, my boy.
Nope.
You look at it, and you don't really know what you're supposed to be looking at. You get a weird feeling from looking at this picture. Like, it's kind of like like you have butterflies in your stomach kind of feeling. Not a comfortable one.
And I'll just tell him.
You just feel weird. You don't know why.
I'll just tell him, I mean, I don't know what I'm looking for. I just kind of, I don't know, my stomach feels a little queasy. That's about it.
I point at it. I point at the thing on her lapel. That look familiar?
When he points it out to you, and you kind of start to focus on it, yeah, you start to feel the queasiness kind of. You feel the queasiness kind of increase, and you kind of back a little bit away from it.
That should be answer enough for him.
Yeah.
I don't say anything else. I just kind of look away.
That's what I thought.
Presumably, I also look at the thing that Jean's pointing at.
Yeah.
Nice. Is that what I think it is?
I don't know. Is it what I think it is?
That's one of these touchstones, yes?
I don't know.
So, you remember when you went through Aggie Underwood's office, you did not find anything resembling this coin there. It looks kind of more like a brooch on her than a coin. Just that she's trying to conceal it, or at least not have incredibly obvious.
So, I would know whether because they took her body in.
Yeah.
So I'd make a quick call to the police station and see if they had anything like this brooch in evidence.
When the body was you're told that when the body was found, they discovered no article of clothing or anything with the body.
Oh, that's right.
Other than that, they didn't discover anything really that helped identify the body. They just from what they've gathered and from the tests that they've done, they are fairly certain that this is the body of Aggie Underwood.
Right.
Oh.
But again, but yes.
I'm sorry. Leslie calling the police station actually made Richard think of something. Like, while Leslie's making his thoughts real quick, he's like, "Oh he just outright says, "Oh shit," and looks at Jean. We were supposed to meet with the FBI agent that is running the station right now. He was supposed to tell us something this morning. And then that's all I had to say.
Yep, you're right. I forgot.
Yeah. Richard's like, fuck. Anyway, that's all I had to say. Go back to Leslie. Sorry, now that when you said you call the police station, I actually, as a person, remembered my, oh crap.
So I would come back in and say, we should probably go back to Aggie Underwood's apartment, see if we can find this brooch.
And, of course, Richard's like, point of order, we should actually probably go to the police station first. We forgot to meet with the agent in charge.
And I kind of wanted to say screw it, but I don't. I said, all right, let's be quick.
As you're walking, you're kind of thinking back to the phone call. I'm gonna have you roll an idea.
Me?
Yes, because you were talking to the person on the phone.
I think that is yes, I have an idea.
All right. So, one thing that pops kind of into your mind, and you kind of start thinking about it. You would know that the DNA testing of currently is not a very reliable thing, and as you listened to the officer describe that, according to at least everything that they have, the body should belong to Aggie Underwood. But kind of, it starts to creep up in your mind the thought of that, what if it doesn't?
Right. And that's a thought I've had off and on.
Yeah.
You
would also know, because you are an FBI agent, and you would have learned this basically because you do take swabs and everything like that. It's not very common, but and it's not like something that happens often, especially since most people do have blood in their bodies. But there is you can technically place somebody else's DNA on another person.
Right.
It's easier to do that to dead bodies, especially dead bodies that have been blown to bits.
Right. So I take that idea and I put it with the fact that Aggie is involved. I assume Jean has shared all of this information.
Oh, of course. I just wanted to make you suffer through being yourself.
So Aggie has been at the one reporting on all of these absences. She looks like she has one of these touchstone things that take people to other worlds.
Yes.
And the body that was found was too badly burned for true identification.
Yeah.
And I go... And I assume we're in the car on the way back to...
Yeah.
So I say to Richard, have you ever been to another world before?
And he's not as...
He laughs and asks if Leslie found the ganja.
Richard just gonna, he chuckles. He's like, well, Gene, I didn't know that you decided to move to Egypt. You're in denial, pal. And he just
blankly stares ahead.
And finally, Richard's like, I don't know, but as far as I know, yes. I'm just gonna say yes to that question because that apartment, that's what it felt like being in another world. And Lisa, I can understand why she's taking the day off. She felt she was there with us. And Agent Jensen, let's ask him. He was probably the one that held it together the best. This crap is nuts, but that's what it was. That's what it felt like.
So before we continue more, I need to take a tiny break. I'll be back in a moment. Just need to grab some food and take some time to think about the revelations. And we are back. For everyone that's watching this, we did not actually go anywhere, but I did. So, have you guys been speculating about what just happened?
Yes.
Cool.
I've been thinking about it.
Got any theories?
I have a theory that there is a coin that Underwood had in her apartment that may or may not still be there. And there was probably a coin in Elizabeth Short's apartment.
Interesting.
I was actually going to ask if I could do like a roll to, like, now that I have this information, to like remember.
You could do that, yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna check here for one moment. Just roll for me, because this is like, if you notice this was very much like in the background of things. So I'm gonna have you roll.
We like use teamwork and we can all think about it.
Yes, you can. This is going to be your intelligence versus what was it? Okay, so this is going to be for you. It's going to be the difficulty of this is 45. You need to get, like, this isn't, you need to roll underneath 45% to get this. This is an intelligence versus sanity. That's for you, Leslie, specifically.
Okay. Yep.
You don't remember seeing this coin in either Short's apartment or in Underwood's apartment. However, you do feel kind of when you think about especially Short's apartment, you kind of get and you kind of feel a little bit nostalgic in regards to the coin. It kind of feels the same way. And yeah, it feels kind of it feels similar to what you saw when you went into that room.
All right. So I voice all of this out loud to the other guys.
In Underwood's apartment, however, you don't like. It doesn't really pop out. Like, nothing really pops out to you.
Right. It didn't feel the same.
No. But you definitely think that this coin has something to do with Short's apartment.
Right. But like the newspaper office, it's not like the whole office felt like Short's apartment.
No.
So maybe this coin could have been built into like the wall or the foundation or something. But there's still a chance that a similar coin, the one we saw in Underwood's photo, could still be at her apartment.
Jean would know that technically seen these keystones can be of whatever size. The just symbols need to be present on it. In a very specific order. In the order that you saw them, all kind of towards the corners.
Okay, so I share this with the others.
So you could theorize, Jean, that if a room has 8 corners to it, that you could technically put this there into a room or an apartment if you just dedicate specifically 8 corners to it of the entirety of the place.
Okay, and the Short's apartment laid out in such a place that I could feasibly lay that out in my head?
Yeah, you could imagine if it's the entire apartment, which you don't think it is, because You don't remember feeling nearly like... You would think that if this is somewhere, it's probably like the further in you go. Like in the like living room / kitchen area, probably. If this would be anywhere.
Okay.
This is with the occult roll and all the information that you made have kind of gotten together. You would be able to kind of piece that together.
So we torch the place. Okay.
You were sort of thinking that anyway.
I was sort of thinking that anyway.
But
I would not voice that, but I would think it.
You don't. The thing that you don't know about this keystone, Gene, is that you don't know what culture it belongs to.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's not a very prominent thing to appear in history or anything like that, so you don't remember seeing anything of it in history books.
Do I have any contacts from my background that I could send the symbols to or describe them to? And someone that could maybe get me some more information?
If you know an archaeologist of any kind, you could possibly send those symbols to them, but you would know that also, since you don't know anyone in the area, it would take a pretty long time for you to get any sorts of response. Because you'd have to mail it to them.
So I would assume that our best bet would be to go to the archaeology department at the school. Which is what I was going to do anyway, was when we got to the police station, I was going to call back to the college we just left and see if there's anybody, archaeologists or even like a forensic archaeologist, or like someone who specialized in religion or ancient artifacts that we could talk to.
Out of nowhere, Richard just kind of starts chuckling. And he's like, "Hey, Leslie, this is kind of a funny thought. Doesn't all this weird stuff remind you of when we were overseas and all that information about the SS came out and all that crap that Hitler was collecting? I didn't really put much credence in that stuff until now."
So I nod, and I live in Arkham. Or that's where my home is. That's where my family's home is. So I'm not unfamiliar. I'm not a skeptic, but I'm not a skeptic, or at least I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I just sort of mumble, yeah, it's fucked up.
So you would be able to, let's see. So yeah, you want to call the university, and they tell you that there is a professor of archaeology there, a professor going by the name of Harriet Quinn.
Harriet Quinn, all right. Can we get like a call forwarding to her office?
Yes. You can. That you can. So you wait for a moment, and after a while you get a strange a voice answers, goes, "Yes, Professor Quinn here."
Good. It's still morning, right?
Yes.
Okay, good morning. This is FBI agent Leslie Hart.
Why?
Do you have any... Did you just ask why?
No, he said, "Oh my."
You have office hours. I've got something I'd like you to take a look at.
Well, I'm currently at the university. I have a class in a few minutes, but you can. I don't have anything after that. You can drop by then. Just bring some coffee. That would be nice. Yes.
All right. How do you like your coffee?
Black and with a lot of sugar. Just
And I'm thinking. Did you just say black with a lot of sugar in
Yes.
cream?
Yes.
And I'm thinking that's not a black coffee. Then I say thank you. Me and my associates will be along in a bit.
All right. And are you going to head towards the to Mackenzie's office currently, formerly Horrell's office?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So when you knock on the door, you can see you can obviously see through the glass that Mackenzie has a pretty serious face on, and he's going through a few documents. And when you knock, he looks up, gives a very weak smile, but nods and mentions motions for you to walk in. And when you walk in, he goes quiet for a moment, continues to go a little bit over a few notes, and then he pulls out a piece of paper, and he looks at you and asks you, "So, got any good sleep?" And with that, he just kind of says, "Me neither. This whole everything around this case is, there's nothing good about it. And we have one more problem." And he places a paper on the table, kind of on the middle of the table, waiting for you, one of you, to take it, basically.
Sure. Reach out, grab it, open it for us. Or
You
make it faces.
You see that it's a statement, not a police statement. It's a warning statement. It's created in with newspaper clippings, and it says on it, "Your agents are next."
Oh, are they 5?
And when you read that, you kind of look it over, and when you look back at Mackenzie, he goes, Horrells was murdered yesterday in police custody."
I look at Gene.
He's hiding a shit-eating grin.
I look at Gene, and if I see any glimmer of amusement, I'm gonna be pissed.
So Leslie's pissed.
Yeah, but say, I mean, it's one thing to hate a man, but
It's not even he's happy Horrells is dead. It's just with everything else going on, it's just like, it's just one more thing at this point. I could totally understand it being seen as he's happy Horrells is dead. There might be a bit of that, but a lot of it's just, you could say, hey, Jesus walked in off the street and was asking if he could spend the night in the drunk tank. And Gene would probably have the same shit-eating grin.
As you know, we took Corals into custody a few days ago when we came here. During our investigation, he was under house arrest with a few of our agents looking out after him. When we came to him, per usual, we had some agents as they were looking for information, any evidence of foul play there. Yesterday, about midday, when they went into his office space where he had been spending most of his time to check up on him, they found him bound to a chair with his throat, wrists, and ankles cut. There was no blood at the scene, and all the blood had been drained from his body. And somebody, and he places a clear plastic box with 2 round gems in them. Somebody put that into his eyes. One of them is a blue gem. They are round, they're spherical gems. One of them is blue and one of them is red.
Oh, so he was going to see a 3D movie. I'd like to do a psychology roll on why a killer would do that. Or would that be psychology or psychoanalysis?
Psychology if you're trying to figure out why they would do that.
I would like to assist.
That's a hard.
That's a hard.
Oh, never mind.
Okay.
Never
It's
mind.
almost a hard success.
You think, often when people replace somebody's eyes with something, it means that it's often a kind of call to, their vices. If you'd replace someone's eyes with coins, they'd probably think that they'd been killed because of their blind greed or something like that. You think that this might be just a very exaggerated version of the same thing, or it, as you may have been leaning a little bit towards with this strange coin, it might have something to do with that.
And I ask, are those semi-precious gems?
Our forensic experts have identified one of them as a ruby and the other one as a sapphire.
But a real ruby and a real sapphire.
Yes.
And Gene sort of sighs and rolls his eyes, and he's got a little one of the, what are they called? The gem magnifiers.
The little
the little jeweler's glass.
Jeweler's
Yeah.
glass.
Picks up the box and checks them out. Are they real? I'll roll forgery for that.
Yeah, roll forgery for it. They're fake.
Push that roll.
Am I allowed to
They're
push that roll?
100% fake.
Push.
Well,
Am I allowed?
in 6th edition, there is no pushing from what I know. But you do have one luck roll that you can use, which is the rolls that I give everyone. Okay.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
succeed.
It's just like the fake. Those seem to be real gems.
Okay. Are they well cut? Are they high purity? Or are they just yeah, it's a ruby, but, other than manufacturing, no one would really give a shit about it?
I mean, you don't think that these are worth, you think these are just rough gems that have been polished into a round shape? But yes, they are.
Okay. And I don't feel all goofy and shit looking at them?
No.
Yeah.
They don't seem to be anything other than just a representation of something.
So, I'm thinking, like, Ruby, you were born in July. And Sapphire, I think that's June?
June's diamond.
April's diamond.
I don't care.
Mackenzie's just sitting there as you're theorizing, goes, like, we don't know why they shoved gems into his eyes. It's just,
Are the gems bloody, or did someone clean them off?
they're clean. Like, there was no blood left in Horal's body when they found him. And they left him for, like, maybe 2 hours. So whatever happened somewhat fast.
Was there blood at the scene?
No. It's very similar to the short murder.
My brain is just screaming, vampire, vampire. Like, I didn't say it out loud. It's like everything. I grew up in New England. We do the vampire. Just like,
Maybe. You don't know. Some weird shit going on, at least.
like, did the victim have any bite marks on him?
No. The only visible wounds on him was the cut marks on the throat, wrists, and ankles. Probably where the blood was siphoned from.
Now, does this look like a mob hit of some kind?
No, this is more of the alley with the Elizabeth Short murder. This seems to be put out on display in a similar way. Sure, it was in his office, but it was in an office that's regularly checked. And I mean, they weren't gonna get him anywhere far away, but yeah.
Right.
This seems to have been basically a. You could easily theorize that the same person is behind both of these.
But a different person than behind Underwood.
Yeah.
Or alleged Underwood.
Yeah.
Shit. I look at Richard. Said, what are your thoughts?
And let's see, my thought. Did he say that Horals was completely under their protection and this happened?
Yeah, they were. He was under house arrest, basically. His house. He was in his house. I mean, his office was on the second floor of his house, and there were agents stationed there. Not police officers, but FBI agent, because because he was under internal investigation specifically, and he was alone maybe for an hour or two. So.
But the house is completely under watch and under guard, and I'm saying this out loud. And yet somehow he was still killed and displayed within that amount of time, not making any noise. And he starts mumbling that kind of stuff. And then he's he kind of waves a hand at Leslie, come back to me later.
Mackenzie kind of leans back in the chair and says, frankly, whatever happened there in his office is beyond our pay grade, that's for sure.
I can't remember. Is Mackenzie's police? He's not FBI, right?
He is FBI. He's just running wild. He is technically seen FBI, but currently he's filling in the position of the police chief while he's under internal investigation.
I just wanted to make sure before I make the statement. It could be a really crooked cop. We have evidence that's been messed with or missing. it may have not been all screwed with by Quarles. Are we sure that all the cops that were watching him were clean?
If anybody killed him, they were from the agency, not from the police here. We had our own people look after him. We didn't want to risk any of his goons possibly getting him out of that situation. So, unless we have a crooked FBI agent with us, I don't think it was an inside job. However, this does open up some questions that we'll need to go through. You see him kind of sigh, not looking forward to having to interrogate some of his own people.
So, I want to know if there are like any known killers for hire. Because this screams professional.
You would have to request access to the database, and it could take a while for you to get that, but if you go through the police archives, you might maybe find something.
I would ask somebody to do that.
So,
or like ask if I'm sure they have like a most wanted list.
yes, they do have a most wanted list. Let's see. There is a most wanted list, that is for sure. The year is... Isn't it 57? I blanked out for a moment about what year it is. Yeah, 47. 47. So, basically, let's see. Interesting. When I'm looking at the list, I don't get the 40s list. I just get the 50s list. Yeah, there isn't a most wanted list until 1950s. Interestingly enough.
All right.
Leslie, let's not jump off the cliff yet. And I describe the coin. I say, it looks like there's some connections relative to this thing we're finding in some of the pictures, or in some of the pictures in the archive. And I describe the coin. Did anyone see anything like that at Horrell's place?
Are you gonna? Will you just describe it, or will you draw like a simple representation of it?
I just describe it at first.
He goes,
8-sided coin, some funny symbols in the corners.
We didn't find a coin, but we did find a weird, note. Tucked into like a notebook of his, and he goes and kind of goes through a few files, pulls out a file on Horrell, pulls out a paper which has a in like plastic, like the note, which has basically symbols that are almost identical to the ones that you have seen on the paper that Leslie drew.
What else was on the note, or is it just a picture?
No. This is just like a note, like This is the note that they found. It's just in like evidence bag, basically.
Okay.
It's like identical, like almost identical. It's very, very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. There it is. This is all we. This is just. I mean, this is all we found at Horrors that we found to be kind of strange. We thought it was like a secret communication method or something like that.
No, this definitely looks like the same sort of thing. Have you seen anything like these symbols show up anywhere else?
No.
Do we have any other cases that might have triggered that look similar to this?
Nothing on this scale. Like with the death of Horrors, with the short girl dead, and Underwood as well. They're all. Don't get me wrong. Like, we've seen some weird cases from time to time. And as you know, we do have a full files of unsolved strange cases back at headquarters, but I mean nothing on this scale. At least nothing that we've done in the recent years. This case is really strange, I'd have to say.
Can you see if you can do a quick cross-reference and see if these symbols show up on any other cases? That might be important. Looks like there might be some relationship.
I can do that, but it might take us some while. I could.
That's fine.
I might have some information for you later today. I'll make some calls.
It doesn't need to be a right now thing, but it might be related.
So Mackenzie will, when you leave, Mackenzie going to cross-reference the symbols from Horrell's notes and the coin. Are you gonna give him like a picture of the symbols on the coin? Or like, are you gonna draw them down for him?
Sure, Leslie can do that.
I'll give a sketch.
Alright. Yeah, you give him a sketch of it, and he takes it and goes, alright, I'll see what I can figure out with this.
Thank you.
Now, there wasn't too much else that I was going to check up with you on. I just wanted to let you know about Horrells. I knew you guys had a interesting relationship.
Best friends.
That's what I thought. Now, please, can you do me one favor? Try to get some actual good evidence for us to use. Anything to just get us towards some sorts of... get us closer to closing this thing. This is not doing anyone favors. This is just... not only are the police here getting a bad reputation, but we are also kind of getting some stink eyes around.
Yes, and we aren't.
And you guys going to go to the university now?
Yeah, his class is probably over.
Alright. So, you grab a car and head towards the university once again. And you are
meeting.
What
Oh.
did you say, Richard?
now that we're out of that meeting, Leslie, when you asked me my thoughts, I didn't want to say my thoughts because, well, hell, Gene's probably going to look at me even nuttier than normal. Do you remember that whole thing about, you asked me earlier about being in a different place?
Yes.
The feeling. What if the whole, okay, so he was surrounded by agents and stuff like that. I'm just going to go out on a limb here. What if the whole other place, let's just, hypothetically, let's just say the whole other place thing is real. Follow me here. What if that can be used to get between places without being seen? Could explain lack of evidence of all the various things. Why none of our other FBI agents saw Horrells get chopped up and put on display. And I feel like I'm losing you both here. Maybe I'm just going to shut up now.
No, I after he's finished speaking, I nod. I say, at this point, makes as much sense as anything else.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you guys have... This case has taken a lot of strange turns. What's your thoughts on his theory, Gene?
I'm just keeping my mouth shut at this point.
Oh.
I don't trust that I can say anything that won't make me look like an ass.
Smart move! I'm gonna replace this here image with the note from Horrells instead.
To be fair, for Richard's point of even coming out and saying this stuff now, he's been kind of broken mentally quite a few times the last few days. So he's just like, I gotta say stuff.
I gotta say something.
He's
the
been
note...
cool under fire so many times that he's finally just got to be like, listen, I don't exactly have it all together at the moment, but I got nothing else.
The note there that you have, that's the note, basically. Mackenzie would have also told you where he had found where they had found the note. It was found in his breast pocket after his death, which is why it wasn't like something that specifically mentioned before.
I'm still waiting for it to come through on my end.
Oh, it's not... Oh, you're still waiting for it to load?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll send it on Discord as well, just in case.
Oh, you put it up on the Roll20?
No,
Facebook, Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, I said it on Facebook, but it's on Discord right now.
Okay, I didn't have Facebook open. That's why.
So, but yes, you guys are gonna head towards the university, and once you arrive, it isn't hard to figure out where the office of Harriet Quinn is, and you get some directions. You head towards there, and you see that the lecture hall that he's in is empty, but he's still in the back. He's kind of shuffling about, and you see this strange looking older gentleman. He has white hair, like in puffs coming from, like, the top of his head is bald, while he has a tuft of hair, kind of as a what's it called again? When you have it on the sides, like it's just a puff of hair on the side. No,
Sideburns?
No, not sideburns. Like you're just
Mutton
bald on top.
chops? Oh,
Just bald on the top of your head.
the friar tuck sort of look, or
Yeah.
I don't remember what it's called.
We have a
but-
word for that.
Yeah. He has hair like on the sides and like the back of his head that's like white and in puffed out, not really kept at all. His head bald. He's wearing a very old looking suit. Like this is like you could see your couch being made out of the same material. And he has a cane with him that out of everything, and he has he also has a small pair of spectacles on his nose, and out of everything that he has, his cane is the most interesting item because it is a wooden cane with some like gold looking decorations on it. But he's just in the lecture hall, just kind of like getting his notes together, picking up his like bag, and just kind of putting everything away, and probably gonna head towards his office, which is just a little bit further. Like his office leads, this hall leads into the office. And when you approach him, he looks at you. He kind of looks at you as he hears you go. And, ah, yes. Did you bring the coffee? And you can see this hunched older man. Oh, I see that you're. I see that you're not holding a cup. Well, no, it's all right. Just go to the cafeteria past the corner. There should be a coffee. You should be able to get coffee there.
I turned to Richard and I said, would you mind getting him a black coffee with lots of sugar and cream?
All right, Leslie, and I'll walk off,
And
shaking my head.
and you see him using his cane and holding his case with his notes and everything, and he goes, "So you are the federal agents, yes?"
Yes.
Oh, good. You wanted me to look at something for you?
And I look at Jean and I say, do you have the coin?
I mean, if you knew that you were going there, you could have taken it with you.
Okay, I took the coin with me.
So he holds forth a bundle of paper.
No, I was gonna say I took the opportunity to remove the paper or the wads of
Toilet roll.
paper towel. Yeah, but I did take the wherewithal to make like a little coin sleeve out of a piece of like printer paper or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's still covered. I pull it out.
Yeah.
That being said,
I make sure Richard isn't in the room first.
I'm about to say. All right, as long as I don't know about this, we're good.
Yeah, you're not even in the room when he's handing the coin over. So you hand the coin over to the hand the coin in the sleeve over to the man. This is an intriguing thing. It just seems to be. Oh wait, there's a sleeve here. Go to my office. And he shuffles back towards the door in the back of the lecture hall. And you follow him into what can just be described as a typical archaeologist's office. There are strange items all over the place, just from digs or just some things that have been sent to him to check out. All of it's weird. Most of it, at least. You can see things that have been sent from Egypt, from Brazil, just all over the world, really. And it's kind of not for you, really, Gene, because this is kind of your home turf. But for Leslie, this is kind of interesting to see. You've never seen so many, like, historical items in one place that aren't in a museum. You do see that everything is cataloged, however. Like, they have tiny, like, markings next to them that mark what they are and stuff like that.
Right.
All of them have numbers. And you see the man walk towards the end of the room where he has, like, just basically the, like, glasses to inspect, like, with magnifiers on them and some tools. And he goes, drops the coin onto the table, grabs some tongs to hold it up as he kind of examines it closely. Interesting. There are not many coins like this around. And he goes, this might take me a little bit of a moment. He's looking at it and he puts it down for like a moment, grabs a very thick ledger, I'd say, and brings it back, and he picks up the coin again and starts flipping through a ledger. And you can see that this is going to take a bit of a moment.
So I'm going to take this opportunity to look around the office.
Okay. The office is covered in all sorts of items. You can see idols, some statues. You can see like old pieces of like armor pieces from some sorts of civilization. And you can like, and again, one thing that does capture your eye is there's a box with mint coins from all time, like from many time periods, all of them cataloged with a number below, so that you could easily reference it, see what it is if you'd look it up in a catalog. This is this is not a very large office, but there are many shelves around, and it's not very big, but it's bigger than you expect it to be with all the stuff around. You kind of have to like shuffle through, but you can still like maneuver here without actually walking into anything. But there's a lot of like stuff here. Tight corridor, tight spaces and everything like that.
Just how it's supposed to be.
Yep. You can roll listen for me. Both of you that are in the room.
I have to find the right tab. There we go. This is mine first.
Mm-hmm.
So I hear everything.
I'm probably not going to hear it as well.
Do I get to check that one off?
Yeah, you get to check that one off.
And where?
Leslie, it's your turn.
Your listen is 60.
Yes, it is. Oh, you do make it.
I hear some. That's a hard success.
Both of you hear like a very soft humming sound. And you look towards where the professor is, and you can see he is looking at it intently, just as you were. However, you do hear the sound coming from that direction, and you can tell it's not the man making the sound.
Was it a high pitch, like men and women hum slightly differently?
It's like,
Or had a
it's kind of
different
like this.
range?
Kind of
Guys, you're in
similar.
college. This is the yoga class next door.
Yeah. And you see the professor looking at it, and he goes, puts it down and says, "Interesting." And as soon as he does that, the humming stops. And he
Gene
continues
just
to go
looks
through.
guilty.
Yes, Gene?
No, I said Gene just looks guilty because he sort of just let him look at it and...
So I go over and without looking at the coin, I pick it up.
Okay. Okay. Roll for me, Sandy.
I don't wanna.
You've made your bed, now lie in it.
You're fine.
I'm fine.
As soon as you pick it up, you just you instinctively want to drop it again, just because you're reminded of what happened yesterday, and you what do you want to do with a coin in your hand? Do you want to pocket it, or do you want to...
I'll pocket it, but I was gonna see if that humming came back.
It doesn't come back, but as soon as you pocket it, you feel a little bit better, but you still feel unsafe with the coin on your person.
Alright, then I take it back out of my pocket and I throw it at Gene. Not
Oh.
like chuck it, but like toss it.
Huh?
Like, this is your problem.
I take it, put it in... I don't look at it, I catch it, put it in the sleeve, and put it back in my pocket.
Alright, he has the sleeve. The old man has the sleeve.
Yes. Is he holding it, or it's just on the desk?
He was holding the coin with like tweezers, and he put it down as he was going to look through the catalog. He looks just a little bit bewildered that you took it. And by the way, when you grab it, roll Sandy for me.
Okie dokie. Fuck!
You grab it and you go, "This is my coin now."
I don't wanna.
Can I do a psychology roll on Gene?
Do I say it, or I just feel it?
You just feel it. There's no real change in his expression. He just grabbed it, really.
Yeah.
There's no obvious
Okay.
indicator that he is that he's thinking this.
In Gene's head, it's worded as, people keep playing with this thing and fucking up. I'm gonna keep a hold of this now.
Yeah, it's basically the thought in your mind is the one that would make most sense for your character to reason. Take it as his own possession for some time.
Okay.
You get a feeling like if anybody else has this coin, they're just not gonna treat it right, and things like it's just not good.
Okay.
So you don't trust anyone else basically to have this coin right now.
Hey, Doogie.
And the old man goes, well, I was done with it anyway. Since you came to me, that must mean that you have some general knowledge of what this is. It is, according to a little bit of my history notes here, these things are called keystones and serve as some sorts of a gateway object between two places.
Yep.
My book tells me specifically, and this is kind of when Richard walks in, it tells me that, oh yes, thank you for the coffee. It tells, it says that these coins take you between the after realm and our realm.
You mean after death?
Well, it doesn't particularly state what this after realm is, but that is kind of what they think it is in the book. The humming sound is is like a quality of these coins. If you stare at it for a while, it does this strange humming sound.
So these things are real.
Well, I've never seen one myself, but I've seen many strange objects in my life, but I've never and many of them have interesting quirks to them, but I don't know if this is actually a keystone or not. It certainly does have some sorts of strange air around it, I must say, but whether it's real, whether what it does is real or not, I don't know.
Where do they come from?
Well, there's no.
Where did they go?
There's no one historical reference to them saying that they come from one special place, but they seem to pop up. There are very few of them that we've discovered in the world, but they've seemed to pop up everywhere, really. The most recent one would be the most recent one was discovered by the Nazis in 1942, according to the books found found after the war ended.
Richard visibly tenses up on that mention.
Seemed like Hitler was a real fan of these coins. It was found on his person.
What happened to that particular coin?
It's still, from the best of my knowledge, still in Germany.
I nod. And do you recognize these symbols on it? Is it a type of writing?
Yes and no. These symbols are, well, they are kind of they belong to whatever culture originally made the keystones. What they serve at, but they aren't really a spoken language of any kind. They're more like, well, if you just make it into a very simplistic term, like a set of 6 is kind of like a phone number. It's kind of like if you have a map and you know how to decipher these, you could technically you could find out a location on a map.
They're like longitude and latitude?
Yeah. From the best of my knowledge and the notes that I have here. But we don't know what any of these symbols mean. They haven't been deciphered yet, so not properly, at least.
What would you say if I told you that and I pause and I shake my head. What would you say if I told you that these symbols seem to be linked to a series of murders?
He goes quiet and kind of looks down. You can see that he's thinking. Well, what limited knowledge we have on this, It wouldn't surprise me if some people would take some become fond of them. They, according to some of the notes, they have they're almost addictive to keep around.
And I will look at Dean.
I got nothing.
Well, there's not really a lot to go by. The only specific report on anyone keeping one around for any significant amount of time, again, is Hitler, and he seemed to be very fond of it. He fashioned a brooch around it.
A brooch, you said.
Yes. And he opens up like the book that he was flipping through, and he shows you a picture of a coin that looks very similar to the one that you have.
Is it the one that Underwood had in the photo?
You couldn't tell. The photo on in the newspaper is pretty blurry. You could tell that she had a brooch and that it had had a coin object in the brooch. That's the amount that you could go on by that. This is a much clearer image of this, and you could definitely if you could see it, you could definitely be sure. But you think that at least looking at it like this, just seeing the picture of the brooch, you can easily theorize that this is the same item. You can't tell what the symbols on this the symbols on this the coin that you see on the picture is the same as the symbols on the coin that you have.
So I want to make a phone call.
Yes?
I've got an archaeology buddy at a university back in Connecticut, Henry Jones.
Yeah.
He spent a lot of time looking at Nazi artifacts. He might have seen something like this.
Yes. So, you want to make the call?
Yes.
So, after a while, you step out of the room and make the call. You go to just a phone, get a phone in the lobby, and after a while, you get in contact with Henry Jones. He goes, "Hey, Professor Jones here."
Yeah, I was wondering if I know you spent a lot of time researching Nazi artifacts. I got this weird coin here that showed up as part of a murder, and it looks similar to a brooch that Hitler was known to possess at one time. Have you come across any of these keystone things in your travels and research?
Are you talking about an 8-sided coin? 8-cornered coin? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a coin that it was a item that Hitler really liked. He fashioned a brooch around it. It had some strange symbols on it, something like that. Yeah, well, I've seen pictures of it, and I have gone to examine it, although it was kept under lock and key back then. That was shortly after the war.
Yep. It's just really strange timing because we have that similar artifact that seems to have shown up at a murder here, and there's symbols similar to it. They're showing up all over town. I was wondering if you had any history with the symbols and what they might mean.
as you say that, he goes, "Can you describe the symbols for me?"
And I sort of describe them out. It's sort of like one of the Nazi SS's with a pair of dots over it.
So yeah,
and a five-pointed star with a dot under it, and I walk through all the symbols to the best of my ability.
So as you're doing it, you just pick up the coin and kind of flip through it, looking at it, and you just describe it as well as almost perfectly.
I'm describing the symbols that are on the Horrell's note.
Okay, you're going to describe the ones on the Horrell's note.
Yes.
He goes, You must have found a different coin then. Or
do you know do you have the symbols for that are? Sorry. So I'll clarify that. We have our coin and the Horrell's coin symbols. Are the symbols on the Hitler brooch different than both of those?
So you're going to describe both of the symbols, right?
Well, so he showed us the picture of the Hitler brooch.
Yes. The Hitler brooch had the same symbols as the one you have.
Okay,
as the coin.
Has the same... Okay.
Has the same symbols as the coin you have.
I didn't catch that detail. So I would describe the symbols on the coin and the symbols on the Horrell's note and say we've seen both of these sets of symbols. They look related.
So as you're describing the coin, you start with the note because you're holding that, but when you start describing the coin, you kind of nonchalantly pick up the coin and describe it in full detail.
Yeah.
With the symbols, how it looks, just everything that the entirety of the thing.
Approximate weight, level of tarnish, size, weight,
Yeah, you go into minute detail, and when you're done, you just kind of slip it back into your pocket as if nothing happened, really.
Okay.
He goes, Well, I have a report here that says the coin in Germany was stolen about half a year ago.
Okay. The whole brooch was stolen, or just the coin?
The brooch, the coin, everything.
Okay. You said you haven't seen anything similar to it in your travels?
No.
Okay.
I did see that I have found some notes that with the symbols describing them as those keystones, as you said, but
yeah.
I mean, I didn't see
we
any.
have an archaeology professor here in LA that's been helping us, and you're our resident Nazi expert.
I don't know if any of that is true with what those keystone things, but at least from what I can tell, Hitler did like his coin, and his has been stolen, at least for now.
Okay. Thank you.
And you head back towards the office.
Yep.
What do you guys want to do while he's making that phone call?
I sort of pull Richard to one side, and I say to him, I know you're not probably ready to talk about this, but could you ask this old man about the place you saw?
I'll try.
That's all I can ask.
Now, Richard, you would know that basically what you saw was like the gateway to such a place. You technically only put your head in there.
In fact, Agent Jensen probably saw more when he reached to grab Lisa.
Yeah. Yeah. Agent Jensen actually put his head in there, not you.
I was busy being surrounded by a bunch of bodies and crap, but I did see through a window. And
You did see through a window, yeah.
But I will. Yeah, sure. At this point, I'm willing to go along and ask, because I need something to ground myself again, so let's just get what we got.
Sweet. So,
I
when you
asked the
arrive,
professor,
yeah. So,
I tell him what I saw and ask what he saw.
so describe it for the professor as you walked in to him and you go, and he kind of just looks at you when you were going and yes. Any other questions?
So, Professor, I want to ask what you saw when you saw the coin, because I saw something weird. Not with the coin, but when I investigated this apartment. Please forgive me. This is kind of hard, but it was almost as if our world was there, but everything was completely dark, and there were shadows, and there was a window, and I just kind of start rambling, but I want to get the points out. So add rambling in the middle of all this.
Yeah.
But he comes. It's like there was this window, and my partner disappeared. Except one partner was still there, and there was a shadow. I almost shot it, and then all my soldiers that died under me, they were yelling things at me and blaming me. And there was a window that had a desert inside of it. My partner was in there, and yeah, I get all that out, but just ramble.
So I'm gonna allow you to choose one thing for me. You can decide to roll a sanity check, whether or not you kind of start to I wouldn't say panic, but you know, when you're kind of going through, like when you're describing something really horrific and you go kind of into a little bit of a shock. You can decide if you want to do that or just if you want to roll to not do that.
What do you mean roll not to do? Wouldn't it be the same roll?
Yeah, I'm saying you can choose to just forego the roll and just
kind of panic.
Yeah. If you feel that fits better.
This is it. If I roll or not is going to actually depend on the fact that Leslie's there, and I know that Leslie is a psychoanalyst, and if Leslie's kind of stepping in to help guide me in my talking and rambling.
Yeah. It's basically just if you feel like Richard would kind of start to panic as he's saying this, kind of start reliving it.
He is gonna panic if no one steps in to kind of guide him through his rambling. Yeah,
Leslie, you notice that as he's rambling, you start to notice his kind of voice pick up, and he starts sounding very distressed.
I go over and I put my hand on his shoulder, and like I lean in to his ear and I whisper. I start murmuring, like, "You're here. You're safe. You're in this office."
That immediately calms you down, Richard. You just you feel a little bit more grounded. As you were describing this, your vision started to go narrow, and your mind started going into dark places.
And my left hand went down to my thigh and definitely started rubbing. And yeah. I don't have my flask on me, but that's my other little trigger.
Yeah, but you feel as if, like, when Leslie starts to calm you down, you start to feel grounded again, and you start like just kind of getting to the point more properly. The rambling kind of slows down into a stop. And
I take a deep breath. And I finish up with whatever, basically those details and focus. And then I just simply ask, what about you? And then I have to sit down.
Well, I can't say that I've seen anything like that. However, I did feel a little bit tingly when I was looking at this coin. The humming sounds brought me some... awoke a little bit of intrigue in me. However, what you are describing seems to be consistent with what little notes we have on these keystones. I don't know about this so-called afterworld thing, but if you could see something similar to, let's say, a portal way, and he starts flipping through. One of the things these notes tell me is that there are these symbols supposedly, and he puts down the book that he was, and he takes out like a old book that looks really kind of used, dusty, kind of the papers seem leathery. And he goes through and says, well, according to this book here, which is one of the few books that actually speak of this keystone item, say that these symbols can also be placed in the corners of portals of any kind, such as doors or windows, with one symbol at the bottom of on the lower right and lower left corners, and two in the upper right and upper left. That may be the reason why you saw those things. They seem to, according to this, once these symbols have been placed upon a portal, they will open up a pathway between this realm and the after realm, letting loose whatever may be lurking at the other side. Its influence clearly affecting the surroundings of the portal. And he closes the book. Now, whether or not anything you saw was real or not, I can't say. I've seen some weird things in my life. I'm more inclined to believe in the stranger aspects of life. He says as he kind of spins his chair a little bit to face you, and he uses his kind of cane as he's kind of leaning a little bit forward.
I nod and simply say, and I've seen man at its worst. I could believe some of that stuff too.
Well, is Gene walking at this point?
Gene is probably arriving at a similar point. But he will say this, but the professor will say this in the end and says, some things aren't really meant for us to understand. It's kind of the way of the world. So just know that just because we don't always need the entire answer for everything. Sometimes, he pats the book, history is better left unexplored.
I nod. Are you familiar with any cultists in the area?
Not in the area, but I've seen many a cult in my endeavors. and he kind of brushes, like you can see a kind of a small smile, and he kind of you can sense a little bit of pride from him when he says that. Of course, none of them that I've taken part in. No, I've just assisted a few people taking down some of these unnecessary cults.
Richard kind of actually perks up with that question. Has he, and ask him, sir, have you ever talked to Miss Underwood? And I forget her first name off the top of my head right now.
Oh, you're talking about the reporter, Miss Underwood. Well, she's arrived to my. She's at least come here twice. Now that I think about it, she asked a lot of similar questions as you did. The first time she arrived alone. The second time she arrived with a man. I forget. I forget what his name is. But
could you describe the man?
Well, yeah. Give me a moment to think about it. I should be able to give you some sort of description of the man. So, older gentleman, not as old, a little bit younger than me, a little bit older than me. I mean, he's not old, younger than this man. See, I distinctly remember him running for office a few way back when. Oh yeah, he's the man that owns that newspaper place called the Herald Express.
Hearst?
Yeah. William Hearst was his name. Yeah.
So, is everyone kind of glaring at each other?
Fuck.
So are all three of us basically like glaring at each other at the moment? Because that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah. You're just kind of looking at each other as this is going on. Yeah, the first time the Miss Underwood, she arrived to ask about the coin specifically. The second time she arrived with the man, it was more to kind of ask some more information on the coin. I think she mostly brought the man, Mr. William, here to get the information himself.
Did they ask anything that we haven't asked?
Okay, good. Well, he didn't ask anything about no other world. As you were talking about, Mr. Excuse me, I didn't catch your name.
Agent Barden, Richard Barden. You can call me Richard.
I didn't ask anything about any other world, Richard, but seemed to be very curious about this coin and its symbols. They asked about the symbols and the coin itself, what it was, and not much more than that.
Do you remember the dates that they asked?
It was sometime last year. I'm not too hot on the dates, but it must have been some time between August and November. Probably sometime around that time.
You mean just a couple of months ago?
Yeah. I don't remember exactly when it was, but I didn't pay too much attention to it because I didn't know that it had anything to do with some police investigations at the time.
It didn't, technically.
I often get people just curious about some items from time to time, asking me questions about them. And I'm all for telling people about items with historical values. But, they didn't bring a coin with them or anything like that. They just asked about if I knew anything about items known as keystone.
Did they take any reading material with them? Did you point them in direction other than answering questions for them?
They didn't stop for long. They just asked a few questions and left. I don't know if any of them are more important than the others.
Right.
Is there anything else you need to ask me? I gladly assist the police as much as I need to.
I would like to roll an idea roll to see if there's anything I should.
What did we forget?
Yeah.
If you're forgetting to ask anything?
Yeah. I'd like to be part of that. I mean, all of us, we're all three putting our heads together.
Yeah. You can roll an idea roll for that.
Okie dokie.
I rolled a 4 out of 85.
Well, if this was a skill check, you would have gotten a tick.
I know.
Yeah, it's not. It's too
You don't think you're forgetting anything. You've asked at least
Okay.
everything about the coin that you can remember, and I mean, this man seems to be. He's somewhere between, like, he's probably around his 70s to 80s. So you don't think he's gonna remember a lot of the information some, like, people that came around a few months ago. So you don't think you don't think he could answer you in a very reliable way with that.
The fact that he just told us who came here, that's the biggest, to me, the important thing that we found.
Yeah, it seems to, like, his the name kind of, like, reminded him, like, oh yeah, that person came by.
I guess speaking of who, it wouldn't hurt to ask about obviously we got their names, but just off chance, the other victims in the crimes, their
Hold
names,
on.
Horrells and
Did
First.
Chief Horrell? Yeah. Did Chief Horrells ever? Did you ever talk to Chief Horrells about any of this?
Oh no, I never saw him coming around here.
Horrells, the first victim.
First victim? Is this?
I meant her name. I meant to say her name. I just.
Oh, the Elizabeth Short. Oh, this is
Yes.
this is in connection with that murder. Well, I did not see her come around any time. No.
All right, thank you so much. We'll contact you if we have anything else.
All right.
I'll leave a
Pleasure's all
card for
mine.
him.
And he kind of stands up and puts out his hand to shake yours, Richard, since you're probably standing in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
Pleasure's all mine. Just let me know if there's anything else I can help you with.
Absolutely. If you think of anything else, here's our card. You can reach us at the police station
Oh, lovely.
or this hotel room.
And takes the card and very shakily puts it into one of his breast pockets, and he will also shake your hands, Leslie and Jean, and goes, well, I have to prepare for some lectures, and hope that this all goes according to. Hope this all goes well for you guys.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good day. And he kind of shovels back in with the book back, and yeah, and you walk out, and you
2
Is your head-
seconds after we walk out, I pat myself down like I've forgotten something and said, "Hold on 1 second." I knock on the door and escort myself back into his office. Quick question.
Yeah, the rest, Richard and Leslie, you're probably either waiting on the hall or continuing on.
I'd probably be waiting in the hall.
Okay. So Gene, you walk in. He turns around. He hasn't gone very far. He's just putting the book away and says, "Yes,
2 questions.
yes."
Did anything weird happen when you what happened when you touched the coin?
Oh, I didn't touch the coin. When I'm examining interesting items, I always use my tweezers over there, unless they're big. But all I did notice was a humming sound. If you want, I can touch the coin for you. But
Yeah, sorry.
you don't want him to touch the coin. Just FYI.
Aw, I thought that'd be fine. One other question. That book that you were referencing, it might be helpful to be able to cross-reference in the future. Can we borrow it for a few days?
Which one of the books?
The one you were referencing about the Keystone coin thing.
There were 2 books. One of them was
right?
both of them referenced the Keystones, but one of them was like an old book with leathery pages, while the other one was a ledger with like just kind of information on all sorts of crap. They're like cataloged, numbered books.
You know, the old one that actually had more information in it, in case we need to cross-reference anything.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh.
I don't remember if I'm any good at that.
Yeah, that's my
I'm not
thing.
any good
Usually.
at that.
So you have in persuasion
15.
15.
Can I make a library? I was gonna say I have fast talk. I was gonna say I want to I feel like I should be able to leverage library use to be able to at least show him that I will properly take care of the text and make sure it doesn't come to any harm in our custody.
Yeah, I'm gonna say though, however, in this situation, this is like a very old book, and he only seemed to pull it up like as a kind of a not really, but like as of a last resort kind of thing. When you ask like the really weird questions.
Yep.
And this book looks really old. We're talking about like at least a century old, if not more. So he might just be reluctant in general to get to just part with it.
Okay. So persuade?
Yes, a straight up persuade.
No.
I'm dreadfully sorry, but this book's been with me for a long time, and it's very valuable, and I don't really want to part with it. You are welcome to pop by if you need to reference it, however, but I'd like to keep it with me. I hope that's all right. And you see him kind of he's kind of clutching the book as you're saying this, so as you're asking him.
I will try the fast talk and push it a bit, since I promise you at the station we do have proper we have the proper resources to care for it in a way that the book will not come to any harm, that's properly it's like, you know, it'll be kept at the right humidity, and we will make sure that proper gloves and every page turners and everything will be used in all handling this, and I will take care of that myself.
So yeah, you're just trying to convince him temporarily that it's fine for you to hold it.
Yes.
Go for it.
Fuck!
He says, as I said before, I would prefer to keep it. You're welcome to come here if you need to, but I prefer the book to stay with me. And
Okay, may I see it for just a short minute before I leave? I just want to, I just want to, more or less, I want to do a quick cross check to make sure there's no other things that are referenced that he may not have mentioned that are relevant to what we've seen or experienced.
okay, so he will place the book on the table and he will hand you gloves.
Okay. And I take the gloves and I use the proper protocol. I ask him for a page spatula to turn pages. I don't know how much.
You are surprised how thick these pages are, by the way.
What's this made out of? Is it paper or is it some sort of vellum?
Oh, the book. It is and he kind of pauses. It's made out of human skin.
Interesting.
Richard, just oh no.
This is probably not the first time that Gene has seen a book made of human skin.
No.
So I go to the section that has the is there an index at all?
No.
Okay. So I go to the section on the keystone. I quickly skim through everything he said to make sure there aren't caveats or sentences missed or anything like that.
One thing that you notice immediately when you're reading the book is that this book is written very archaically.
Okay.
It's not written in English.
Okay, what's it written in?
It is written in Hebrew.
I have that.
I know. However, this is pretty difficult text to read, so you're gonna have to roll for it.
Okay. I don't have much in it, so we'll see. Damn it. No.
You managed to read like a few words to kind of give you a general idea of what he said. Fits.
And it's close. I can sort of suss out what he said as there.
Yeah, you can kind of tell that at least if there's anything that you're missing, you can't tell what it is. You feel like the professor kind of told you everything, really.
Okay. And I sort of look at the adjacent sections or whatever it's talking about at a high level. Does it seem relevant to anything we've seen?
You kind of struggle with reading the text, so you really, as much as you try to read it and try to get an idea of what it is, you just you sadly don't get enough from the text that you are able to tell.
Okay. Okay. I thank him and I head about my day.
Okay. So you take off the gloves and you walk back out, and you can see Leslie and Richard waiting in the hallway for you.
Yep.
And you start heading back. Where was the next place you were going to go to? Going back to the police station?
Actually, I was going to suggest we go check up on Hearst.
On Hearst.
Yes.
All right.
While Gene was in that office, I had something I wanted to actually mention to Leslie.
Yep. Go for it.
I was in there. Hey, Leslie, I got kind of a weird hunch. All right, so, we've been threatened now. We're next on SAR's supposed killers list, right?
Yes.
And we're doing all this investigation, getting close. Who's the only other person that knows this information that seems genuinely on our side? This guy. I'm kind of wanting to put maybe either some troopers or one of us to watch him. I'd be glad to volunteer for it, but I think we need to put a patrol car on him. Just, I don't know, I feel like he might be in danger. Call it a gut feeling.
No, you're probably right.
Man, I'd be glad to do that while you and Gene do some more investigating, or we can put a patrol car on him. Either way.
We should probably put a patrol car.
You can easily call for a patrol car and describe the situation while Gene's doing his thing, because that's taking a while. He's taking a long while getting whatever he forgot in there.
Okay, I'll go and use a phone, one of the, those outside police phones that they always have, where you say your badge number and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll call it in. I'll call it in Agent Richard Barden, badge number, whatever it is at this point.
Yeah. You basically, when you're finishing that, you're probably in the in the lobby. And when you're finishing that, you can see you can see Gene and Leslie kind of walking towards you.
And then, last thing, spot hidden. Is there anyone suspicious following us? I'm getting a little paranoid now.
Oh, go for it.
That hasn't been since game 2.
Yeah, but it's a different reason now. Close, but no cigar.
You kind of look around and kind of examine the area, give it a glance over, and you don't notice anyone following you. You see a little bit of movement, and you kind of jerk your eyes there, but you notice it's just a cat that's kind of going past the door outside.
I'll express my concerns to both of them as well. I mean, at this point, he's not hiding as much.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be the first time we've been followed.
And as you're expressing your concerns and you're walking out of the university, that is where we will fade. That was a fun game, guys.
I enjoyed it.
We're so
It's great. Well, we got another super break in the case, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things are starting to move forward, as much as they're also starting to get confusing.
Yeah.
It's which rabbit hole do we want to choose?
I find it fun that you're going down that rabbit hole, because I have the case laid out in two ways. It's the way that you're going, and then there's the way that there has where there's almost no occult things in it. And you're going pretty heftily into the occult territory.
Oops.
My
This is Call of Cthulhu, right?
Yeah. My favorite part is still the point where Richard said, "You should not look at the coin. Look at the coin." And everyone looks at the coin. But but luckily this time around our agents got some progress forward, and things are starting to look a little bit up to you. You have you found some interesting clues, and we'll see where that's going to take you. But this has been a great session. As always, I'm Godpool, also known as G20, and with me are my wonderful friends, Kellen, who plays the great role of Richard Barden.
Good day, fine folks.
It is Michael, who plays the roles of Gene Franklins.
Goodbye. I'm an asshole.
And Brienne, who is Leslie Hart.
Bye.
The only one that has recovered some sanity from seeing a shirtless man. Thank you all for watching, and see you guys next time. Bye-bye.